If you're like us, you love all things Disney, but all those happy Disney movies have a dark side. Stay tuned to find out the sad reason why Disney characters usually don't have parents.
Feel the power.
Oh, I could feel it.
Disney movies have given us some of the most beloved characters of all time. From movies about princesses to films about talking toys, the world of Disney is absolutely magical. Nothing can cheer us up like watching a Disney movie. The characters are relatable and awesome.
Your finest table, please.
There's a perfect mix of humor and feel-good vibes. And let's not forget the awesome soundtracks. But almost all Disney movies have something else super important in common. They usually have at least one missing parent. And more often than not, the missing parent is the mother. Sometimes movies have killed off both parents. And let's not forget the princess movies with the evil stepmothers. It's been a long-running joke that Disney must hate moms. When there are mom figures, they aren't always the healthiest relationships. But why is this the case? Well, there is one major reason why Disney characters don't have parents, and there are also some other complicated ones. But first, let's take a look at the characters who are missing one or both of their parents.
Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man showed up?
Yes, what is up with that?
More than half of all Disney movies since 1937 have had an absent parent. We'll start with the princesses. When it comes to the Disney princess crowd, it's actually easier to say which ones do have parents. Aurora from Sleeping Beauty has 2 living parents, but she doesn't grow up with them. She lives with the fairies for her own safety, so we aren't sure that really counts as having parents. The same thing happens with Rapunzel in Tangled. She is kidnapped as a baby. Both of her real parents are alive, but she doesn't know about them until the end of the movie. That leaves us with just 3 princesses who do have both parents present in their lives. Mulan is the first one. Her parents love her very much and are very supportive. Of course, she sneaks off to join the war to protect her father, but she definitely has the best relationship with 2 living parents out of all of the princesses. Is it any coincidence that she's probably the strongest princess out of the bunch? Then there is another super tough princess. Merida from Brave has 2 living parents. Both her father and her mother totally adore her, but she has a strained relationship with her mom. Then there's Moana, who also has both parents, and she goes on to save her entire culture. So what about the rest of the 14 princesses? Snow White and Cinderella are both missing their mother and father, and they were forced to live with an evil stepmother.
And the draperies.
But I just finished.
Do them again.
Ariel in The Little Mermaid has a father but no mom. That's also true for Belle, Pocahontas, and Jasmine. Tiana from The Princess and Frog also has a mom, but her father is gone. Then there is Anna and Elsa. They have parents at the beginning of Frozen, but within the first 20 minutes, they are lost at sea. These 2 princesses are orphaned at a really young age. It's not just the Disney princesses, though. The missing parent theme is present in a ton of other Disney movies. Tarzan's parents are tragically killed by a cheetah. At least he gets an awesome adoptive mom, though. Who cares that she's a gorilla, right? Lilo and Nani from Lilo and Stitch don't have parents anymore. Even in Finding Nemo, Marlin's wife is killed early on. There are missing parents in Big Hero 6 and Brother Bear. Even Goofy in the Goofy movie is a single dad. Andy from Toy Story only has a mom. And it's not just the animated movies. Pirates of the Caribbean has Elizabeth as the character with no mother. And let's not forget the movies where something bad happens to the mother. Dumbo's mom gets captured. And in one of the saddest moments in all of Disney history, Bambi's mom is tragically taken from him. We could seriously make a whole video just listing all the missing parents in the world of Disney. These are just a few of them. There are actually over 30 Disney movies with missing parents. Well, one of the reasons has to do with Walt Disney's very own mother. Get your tissues ready because this is one seriously sad story. So, Walt Disney was pretty young when he became successful. He was animating when he was in his 20s. By the late 1930s, he was making lots of cartoons with his company. In 1937, he released Snow White, which was the first feature-length Disney movie. Walt loved his family. He really adored his parents. And since he had become really successful, he decided to do something nice for them. So he bought them a house, but it turned bad really quickly. See, houses used to be heated with gas before electric heating. Well, some houses still are, but they are a lot safer these days. The house that Disney bought for his mom and dad had a gas leak. When gas leaks, it releases carbon monoxide. This invisible gas has no smell, and it is super poisonous. It can make you really sick sick or even cause people to pass away. These days, houses have carbon monoxide monitors to tell you if there's a leak, but this was a long time ago. The date it happened isn't super clear. Some sources say it was 1938, the year after Snow White was released.
Oh, I understand, but it's more than I ever hoped for.
Others say it was in the early 1940s. Either way, this gas leak caused a major tragedy. Disney sent some workers from his studio out to his parents' new house. They tried to fix the gas leak, and they thought they did, but they weren't really experts in the matter. So the gas continued to leak. Walt Disney's father ended up hospitalized from the carbon monoxide poisoning, but his mother wasn't so lucky. This was a really awful time in Walt's life. He definitely blamed himself because he bought the house. Of course, we know it wasn't his fault, but he didn't see it that way. He lived with guilt about it for the rest of his life. And he really didn't talk about what happened much. That's never a good idea. It's important to talk about how you feel with people who genuinely care for you. Poor Walt. We feel so bad for him. As a result of this tragedy, he included lost parents in a lot of his movies. This isn't the only reason why there are so many missing Disney parents, though. It's actually a lot more complicated than that. And of course, Snow White was released before Walt's mother died. Depending on the actual year it happened, there might have been a few more movies with tragic parent stories like Dumbo, so we can't blame all of it on Disney's own tragic backstory. Also, Walt Disney passed away in the 1960s, but Disney the company has been making movies without parents for decades since then. Are they doing it because of Walt Disney's Mom? That just doesn't seem realistic. Another reason was given by Don Hahn, who produced Maleficent. He says that Disney movies are often coming-of-age stories. The characters need something to happen that will make them grow up. Since Disney movies are usually only about 90 minutes long, they need an easy way to do this. Something major needs to happen, either on-screen or off-screen, to make our main characters grow up quickly. Disney seems to think the easiest way to do this is by making them grow up alone and misguided. Sure, that would make any character grow up really fast, but there has to be some other way to do it. Some people have said that missing parents are also important to the stories. Most Disney characters have some sort of adventure. They also make mistakes that give us awesome plots. A lot of people pointed out that parents, especially moms, keep us from making big mistakes like that. And parents tend to keep us from going off on big, dangerous adventures. But we aren't sure we buy that. Look at Mulan. Having two parents didn't keep her from running away and saving all of China. Just like Mulan, Moana leaves her two parents behind to save her people. And she is one tough princess. And Merida still has two parents. The strained relationship with her mom is what leads to her adventure.
One swipe, his sword shattered, then chomp! Dad's leg was clean off.
There are plenty of other ways to grow up and have adventures without throwing missing parents into the plot. Other people are quick to point out that we can't blame Disney for this trend. A lot of Disney movies were based on fairy tales, and fairy tales have a lot of deceased parents too. Fairy tales have been around for a long time. Many of the most famous ones were written by Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm. Why did they include so many lost parents? Well, one reason is the time period. When they were alive, people didn't live as long as they do today. There were more orphans than there are now in developed countries. They just didn't have the medical knowledge to save people from illnesses. So stories without parents would have been a lot more relatable. There's also the whole thing about needing to grow up quickly. Losing a parent will do that. And it's an easy thing to write into a short story. Fairy tales also talk about the loss of innocence and childhood, and one of the best ways to show that is through a metaphor. Having parents keeps you innocent and young, but if you don't have them, you lose that. And when it comes to storytelling strategies, it's not just fairy tales. Any type of adventure story with a hero or heroine needs one important feature. The hero has to have a tragic backstory, and an easy way to have that happen is by making the character have a single parent. Losing parents makes heroes relatable, even if it hasn't happened to the reader or audience member. Disney is definitely not the only company that uses this storytelling feature. When Star Wars was first released, it was not a Disney company, but Luke Skywalker was an orphan who didn't know the truth about his parents. We also see this trend in superhero stories. Spider-Man lost his parents at a young age and was raised by his aunt and uncle in the comics. Batman literally watched his parents pass away as a young child. A lot of young adult books feature lost parents. Laura Jean Covey, in To All the Boys I've Loved Before, has no mom. Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games lost her dad, and her mom became a broken shell of a person. Katniss was a tough heroine because she had already been providing for her family. Tragic backstories stories make heroes stronger because they've already had to overcome stuff. They grow up quickly and are used to loss. That makes their stories much more effective to the audience, and it obviously works. There are so many stories that have missing parents, but it is still super sad. There have to be other ways for Disney to give us conflict. Some of the characters have proven that a parent doesn't have to die for there to be a great story. And sometimes we just want to watch a Disney movie without tearing up, but we aren't sure Disney is going to change up their habit anytime soon. It's been a pretty successful strategy so far. There's a reason why they are one of the most successful movie companies ever. We would still like to see more characters like Mulan, Merida, and Moana though. If you love Disney as much as we do, leave a red heart emoji in the comment section down below. And be sure to tell us who your favorite Disney characters are while you're at it. And that's a wrap. Give this video a big thumbs up if you love Disney movies, and be sure to subscribe to The Things for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time!